Well, it's a horrible drizzly day and I need to turn the truck around to get the waster off because I need the truck. And due to some brilliant mistake by me and someone else's electrical bodgery, the battery on the truck is completely dead. And it's my fault because I'd left that on. Normally, of course, the fans don't come on without the ignition, but on this they do. Doesn't need the key in it, you can just have the fan on all night, and that's what's happened. Always start your day with an inconvenience. The battery's that low on it, it's almost like there isn't a battery in at all. Here though, someone's come along and taken it out in the middle of the night. These leads really do the job. I've got a really busy day ahead of me as well. This car needs to come off, and ideally first day of investigations as to why it wouldn't work yesterday. Then I have an engine to deliver to a very nice mechanic friend of mine who I still think looks like a teddy bear. Some wheels to dispatch and another potential buyer for Steve. Time to come off. Time to come off the back of the truck, sir. Sir? While all men appear to be calling each other sir these days, I'm calling a car sir. That's really stupid. It's part of the job. Sticking this K-Series engine on the back of my truck. We're ready for delivery. New battery on Project Waster, and it did try and turn over. But the electric windows stopped working and it wasn't quite enough, so I'm going to hook it up to Steve and see what happens. It's turning into a bit of a mystery, this car. Finally the electric windows have started working again, so I'm not sure why that was the case, but it started and it run ever so slightly and then stalled, and now it's turning over really slowly. Listen. Today is one of those days where you have no choice but to get drenched, and I did. So hence the hairdryer in my pocket, because it's very cold when you've got water pressed up against you. Today should be a really happy, positive day, but something's happened that's really annoyed me. It really annoyed me, like to the point where I'm just going to have a right moan right now. On the floor down here are a set of Rover 75 wheels, which I have sold to a man in Cornwall. Now obviously that's far too far away to possibly consider saying, I'll tell you what, I'll drop them off, or you know, you come and collect them if you want them. So, courier, I found myself a quote, 20 kilos each they are. So there's a company called DX that were the cheapest. It worked out something like £7.80. Oh shit, yes, £7.80 it was. So that's what I quoted, £8.70 per wheel. So I've been paid for the wheels, and today I started doing the postage. I had to wrap in a bit of cardboard on the face of the wheels to avoid any kind of damage, and went back to that site, did everything, got to the end and said, oh no, it's too big or too heavy. But under a metre, 62 centimetres by 24. That is definitely under a metre. 20 kilos is 20 kilos. And they won't let me do it. So you'll just have to use an alternate service, which is a lot more expensive. Why do these companies do this kind of thing? It's just such nonsense. I'm actually genuinely quite annoyed right now. No, I am, honestly, I am annoyed. I know I might be smiling, but that's how I get through these things. Anyway, so the alternative is parcel force. And the trouble with that is that you have to print your own label. Yeah, that's fine. I have a printer at home, but that means I've got to go home to print the labels. Whereas I just wanted to do it on my phone right now so they could be just collected. And so the other thing is, they can't be collected. I've got to drop them off at the post office. 4 wheels at the post office that has a double yellow line and a zigzaggy you know, pedestrian crossing thing there, and all many of people might just stop on those zigzags just to drop off a single letter. I find that incredibly rude, and what I'll do is end up parking up the road and carrying them sort of 20 metres down the road, with each one locking up every time, and they probably won't fit in the car anyway. But of course I can't even do it until tomorrow now, because I've got to go home to print the label. I'm not going to go home just to print a label, that'd be really stupid. And then the third thing, in order to print a label, you've got to receive an email. And I've just checked mine and it says it's full. Well, you know, things do get filled up if you don't delete them. But the trouble is, the reason why I don't delete my emails is because I get so many of them, and it doesn't have a select all button. So you have to press each one individually. Just had a quick search online to find out how you delete all of your Gmails in one go. And apparently, you need to do it on your computer. You can't do it on a smartphone. Yes, excellent thinking, Google. Do you know, pretty much everybody conducts everything on a smartphone these days. How many people do you see sat down in front of a computer doing their business these days? You don't, do you? It's all done on one of these little gadgets here, because it does everything. Why can't it do your emails as well? See that? That's the time. 11:30. That means I've been here for 2.5 hours, and the only thing I've done productive so far is stick on a bit of cardboard onto the face of those wheels to make sure, or what, to try and stop them from being damaged. Right, let's get on with what this video was supposed to be about today anyway, which is trying to get Project Waster started. Yeah, because I want it to work. I'd quite like to sell this car as a car. I don't want it to be one of those things that ends up coming apart because it's just too much hassle. So let's have another go. The reason for this car not starting could be not any reason, but there's plenty of excuses for this car not starting, and I don't know which one it is, but I think it's most likely to be an earthing issue. You know how electricity works? It has to complete a circuit for it to actually work, and if it doesn't earth, then it won't work. Yesterday didn't help because it was just raining all day. Today's nice though. Well, it's nice if you don't mind a bit of rain and lots of wind and a good helping of cold. So we have the lorry battery connected up to that battery with the 70mm jump leads, which is enough to start an elephant fight. Unashamedly leaving incomplete nonsense there. Now this should just have the car start up straight away, but watch, well, and listen. There's just dead battery sound. Right, it looks like we may have got to the bottom of this. Even with the jump leads on the car here, cranking it over was bringing the voltage down to about 8 volts. Which obviously is nowhere near enough to make the car start. So it would seem the most likely thing is the starter motor insulation has basically disappeared through being overheated. And that means it consumes masses of power but puts no power out. And that's why that happens. So tomorrow, or the day after, I'm going to fit a new starter motor on Project Waster, which will be possibly an instruction video. If you haven't already noticed, the caps, the red caps, have gone off of this car. And that's because they are back on Project Steve. Lovely Project Steve has now gone into the archives of cars previously owned by me. It was a fantastic Rover 45 diesel, and I really enjoyed my time with this car. 2,200 miles I think I did in this, of lots of joyful diesel rambling around Rochdale and once to Stafford. Yes, a very reliable car, very durable, very good economical car, which I made, I must admit, look a lot more appealing by cleaning the paint and putting some alloys on. But the new owner, who turned up yesterday, didn't want the chrome caps, so I was happy to oblige by taking them off and sticking the red ones back on where they kind of belonged, I suppose. And the man's gone away very happy with his new Rover 45 diesel. So everybody's happy, and I'm back driving George. back in George. A genuine reason to be back driving George. And the genuine reason is I need a car, and this is a car.